I know it's the first image you see, terrifying. Please put away all your small children and grandchildren because the story that we're going to cover is more shocking than that. You see, Pelosi said several things that should astound you, but this one, he has cancer. Pelosi in a shocking announcement. But then that is immediately followed by Senator Rubio going off on the most cryptic series of tweets I've seen. We have to read to believe. What classified intel does he have that we don't know? So many questions we're going to cover. But that's only a portion of the broadcast today. Because then we're going to go into an entirely separate study that you have to see. Russia versus Ukraine. It is no gamble. No gamble whatsoever. Rather, I'm going to give you the 10 reasons why it is the Great Reset Phase War. Make no mistake about that. You have to watch it. We're going to split this broadcast like we do daily. If you haven't subscribed to me here on YouTube, I certainly hope you will. Make sure your bell is checked so you're alerted to upcoming broadcasts. Also, you know we broadcast on BitChute. We broadcast on Rumble. And of course, we broadcast at restrictedrepublic.com. So many thousands joining us there. The platform's grown greatly because people value information. No commercials, no interruptions. Cold, hard referenced facts are references are put on each and every article so you can research for yourself. If you haven't gone there yet, right now discount code FREEDOM will get you up to 2 years for $5 a month. You can cancel anytime, absolutely up to you. 14 days for free just to check out the platform. Again, put in discount code FREEDOM at monthly checkout, $5 a month for up to 2 years. That's our offer to you because we know once you're there, you'll go nowhere else for your news that matters. But now let's get back to this story. Don't forget, part 2, Russia versus Ukraine. Absolutely no gamble. When I go through the 10 reasons why it is Great Reset Phase War, everything will make crystal clear sense to you.
They're not making a diagnosis of his health. Some people say he has cancer, and some people say he has brain fog.
Okay, you know who she's talking about there? I know where my mind went immediately, but then I listened to the rest of the clip and realized that she's not talking about Biden. No, she's talking about Putin. Worries grow over Putin's stability and mindset. The Russian leader could further fall into the abyss as the country's economy begins to spiral amid an unprecedented global campaign of sanctions, with the Russian currency, the ruble, plummeting on Monday to a value of less than 1 cent compared to the dollar. But that's the story that the mainstream media is telling you. Remember, there's always two sides to every coin, and there's ultimately another part of this story. We see the mainstream media drumming in one direction only. Now we hear Pelosi come out drumming in one direction only. I'll play the rest of her clip here in just a second. But listen here.
The Russian leader, growing increasingly frustrated and, according to US officials, is lashing out and isolated, meeting with his bankers and finance ministers at a distance. Even his military chiefs are not allowed too close.
That's exactly what's going on here. Look nowhere else, hear nothing else, see nothing else. Believe what we tell you. Do you believe it? I look forward to your comments. Do I think he's completely mentally stable? Of course not. He's a world leader. That doesn't happen. But we're gonna get into more elements of this. Just want to go back to that Pelosi clip real quick. Let you listen to it now in this new context.
I don't know what is the matter there. I've talked to heads of state who have met with him, and they just take at face value the evil that he is putting forth as something that we have to deal with. They're not making a diagnosis of his health. Some people say he has cancer, and some people say he has brain fog from COVID. Other people just think he's a complete raging bully. But whatever it is, the people of Ukraine are paying the price for it.
It's COVID. Back front and center. It's COVID. Of course it is. It's always COVID, right? Just forget everything else. Experts, analysts, lawmakers, and even administration officials have speculated Putin's isolation during the COVID-19 pandemic has raised his paranoia. They've pointed to decisions he's made, such as the invasion itself and his move on Saturday to put his nuclear forces on alert, and suggesting he is not making rational decisions. Or according to Pelosi, some people say he has cancer, some people say he has brain fog. In context now, please. Former ambassador to Russia, Michael McFaul, said his concern was that Putin had spent many years effectively consuming his own propaganda. I'm nervous that Mr. Putin had been believing his propaganda for decades. It almost sounds as if these guys are talking about the same context they talked about Trump with, isn't it? Well-rehearsed story you're reading here. I'm nervous that Mr. Putin has been believing his propaganda for decades, McFaul told NBC News on Sunday. I sat in the room with him for 5 years when I worked in the Obama administration. Uh-oh, here it goes. I speak Russian, I listen to him, and I know what he says. He's increasingly unhinged. So who they send in? Francis Macron, of course. That's who I'm going to send in to get the real information. All this should concern you now. These more than 5 hours of talks make us realize how different the Putin of today was to the Putin of 3 years ago, said the source who was briefed on the contents of the Macron-Putin talks and spoke on condition of anonymity. Of course they did. Because remember, Putin's erratic. He's delusional. Lawmakers question Putin's stability as he puts nuclear forces on alert. Condoleezza Rice comes back out. Marco Rubio. Do you notice the same cast of characters over and over and over again whenever the deep state needs to get their message out? I do. I know you do now because we've made you so in tune to what's going on. Because when it comes to, Joe, any cognitive test is blocked immediately. We're going to go ahead and everybody's questioning Russia's, Putin's stability, but nobody is questioning Joe's. Even though it's been asked for, let's just ignore that storyline. Let's focus on big, bad, bully Putin. Not saying, again, what he's doing is right. Not going there. But we are going to go to the cryptic text put out by Marco Rubio. By the way, Marco, you're senator. Can you at least... Never mind. Dress up a little bit. Be helpful. It's all right. Just represent our nation. No big deal. But I digress, and we'll go to a series of texts. I wish I could share more that hint towards classified information. But for now, I loved it. Should take away all social media accounts from all political leaders the day they're elected. Just my humble opinion. I wish I could share more, but for now I can say it's pretty obvious to many that something is off with Putin. He has always been a killer, but his problem now is different and significant. It would be a mistake to assume this Putin would react the same way he would have 5 years ago. Boy, that's directly in line with what Macron said. Interesting. All these stories converge almost identically. Isn't it insane? There is no coincidence in politics, folks. There is no such thing as coincidence. And we're about to get to 10 reasons why there is no such thing as coincidence. This is the most dangerous moment in 60 years. Putin is facing a humiliating military fiasco, and he has triggered extraordinary consequences on Russia's economy. Oh, has he triggered extraordinary consequences on Russia's economy? Not the world stage. He hasn't helped to level the playing field, has he? He hasn't, maybe eased or joined together some China and Russia, maybe Belt Road initiatives. He hasn't smoothed any of that over to a more world format by doing this, has he? 10 reasons why he has. Coming up soon. Putin is facing a humiliating military fiasco, and he has triggered extraordinary consequences on Russia's economy and the people that will not be easy to reverse. And his only options to reset this imbalance are catastrophic ones. Very concerning, that is true. Understand, for Putin, being seen as strong is essential. Ukraine-Russian, I'm glad we hashtag all this, Marco, has been humiliating. He is using cluster bombs and other terror tactics to break the will to resist. Danger. Putin's legitimacy, built on image as a strong leader who restored Russia to superpower after the disasters of the 90s. Now the economy is in shambles, and the military is being humiliated, and his only tools to reestablish power balance with the West is cyber and nukes. Marco, if I can give you the proverbial gas can and a lit fire, you seem to have no problem pouring that fuel right on the fire. You nor the mainstream media seem to have any problem pouring that fuel on the fire. I wonder why. I wonder why. It has nothing to do with 3 words, the Great Reset. Let's just keep it all on focus now. Because, of course, Biden can't get a simple meeting with Saudi Arabia. Biden has Iranian new president not wanting to talk to him. We'll skip all that, don't worry. Because the White House has said that President Biden is not expected to speak with Putin. No shock. The Russian leader last spoke with Macron on Monday. The French president suggested to the Russian president that they remain in contact over the next few days to help prevent the situation from worsening, or to make sure we have all our talking points lined up. We need all our talking points lined up because this is perfect what we're doing. This is perfect. The Great Reset Phase War. What do you believe now? This is the key question before we go to segment 2, the big segment, the 10 reasons why. This is all part of the Great Reset Phase War. Do you think it's just Putin, unhinged, unstable, mentally gone, isolated, COVID quarantined, making all these decisions to bring back Mother Russia? It's definitely a part of the problem. There's no question of that. But is that the only reason why? That would go to say that he's the only world leader, maybe outside of Xi Jinping, no, that's not even true, who isn't partaking in the Great Reset. He's just all off on his own, has no idea what's going on. He has no idea that that nice central hub, in a lot of ways of Ukraine, is critical to allowing the flow of materials into Europe. And wouldn't it be nice if Russia was to control that flow along with China so they could build that EU bloc completely to control it, to further rationalize and justify, adjudicate, and push through the Great Reset. COVID did a great job of it, the initiation of so many elements of it, but didn't finish the job completely. So that means we got to move forward to a stronger tactic. Phase War. If you haven't joined us at Restricted Republic, I certainly hope you will. Again, discount code FREEDOM, monthly checkout, $5 a month, up to 2 years. You can take advantage of that, but you have the opportunity to cancel anytime, 14 days for free, just to check out the platform as we continue on. Don't forget, here's the video. Russia versus Ukraine, no gamble. I know, I spent a ton of time on making that thumbnail. Hope you enjoy it. I hope you appreciate the information we give you, resource referenced. My YouTube videos are always republished at restrictedrepublic.com with all the references, no commercials, no interruptions. Hope you enjoy that. Hope you appreciate it. Most importantly, we love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justus Knight, signing out.